Mags.
Okay, now I'm in this StreamYard, so I'm not quite sure how.
Oh, so I think you have to open up the actual YouTube, and then on the three dots it says make moderator.
All right, okay. I'll do that in a wee tick. Hi, folks. Welcome to this live stream. There's a few on already. Well, there's one on already. But yeah, just to do a quick intro. Obviously, I'm Mags from My Garden and the Dinosaurs Who've Lived There. Welcome to the live stream. And I'm joined by three lovely guests. Amir from Amir's Allotment, Danny from Grow Up, and Ali all the way from sunny or not so sunny Canada. And her channel is My Rusty Garden. So welcome to the channel. We're going to talk about flowers. We're going to talk about gardening. We're going to have some fun. So stick with us. Hi, Annie. I see you're on. We're going to try and make you a moderator if you were happy to do that, if I can work out how. So bear with me a wee second. Talk amongst yourselves.
She's saying she can't because she just finished work. That's okay.
Oh, right. Oh, that's okay. No problem.
I'm sure we'll
Ernie, hiya. Welcome to the chat. Ernie is a person of few words, but always watches my videos and comments. So we'll start just in a tick. Who else have we got? Siggy Roberts. Hi there. How are you doing?
Hi, Siggy.
Hello.
Oh, Ali was kicked out and is just on her way back in. Oh, dear. Cool. Well, while Ali's coming back in, let's just have an intro then. Folk that have come into this live stream probably know me because they've looked at my channel to find the info about it. If not, I'm Mags Warrington. I'm in sunny Scotland or not so sunny Scotland. I garden or I grow in my garden. I've got a sixth of an acre garden that I'm trying to knock into shape, but we moved here 2 years ago and it's taking its toll on me, but we're getting there. And I have 8 lovely chickens, my dinosaurs, and I've got quail. I've got 1, soon to be 2 beehives. And yeah, it's all very busy, but great fun. I'm joined by Amir from Amir's Allotment. Amir, do you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Mags. My name's Amir. I'm from Gloucester, and yeah, I've got an allotment, and I've also this year started filming gardening at home as well in my home garden, which is still a work in progress, but I'm getting there. And yeah, it's great, really. I just love all things gardening. And you mentioned flowers, and yeah, that's what it is. Just love all things flowers. It's absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. Danny?
Hi, I'm Danny, and I'm from the Grow Up channel. I've got 2 plots. One's recently new from my old plot. I tend to practice no dig as much as I can. Yeah, I try and have a diversity of flowers and veg on my plot. So to me, it's not just about growing food; it's about having somewhere to go as well. So it's a nice garden full of flowers and a pond and a potting shed with a kitchen, and yeah, you name it. And I try and have it on there.
Now, I don't know whether we're going to be able to get Ali because Ali seems to be a little bit behind us. But Ali, when this does come through to you, just interject, shout out and tell us a bit about your channel and where you garden. And hopefully you'll get this and you can introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I can see, but I can't chat, says Ali. Oh dear. Okay, Ali.
I can see Ali though.
Yeah, I can see Ali as well. But we'll carry on, and Ali can chat.
Wave.
Put some stuff in the chat. Wave. So let's see who's on. Jean, welcome. Jean. Now this is like my lack of eyesight. Helliwell, that's great. Jean Helliwell is on. Hi, Jean. We've got Julia Demir, who is from Turkey, is a lovely lady that follows me. She probably won't understand a lot, but she loves joining, and she tries to keep pace, and always watches she comments and we can translate and so on, so she understands that. But I'm so pleased to have Julia on as well. And then we've got Christine Purcell. Hi, Christine. Welcome to the chat. So, we're going to chat about flowers first and foremost. And, some of us, I've got a garden, and so I garden at home. Ali also gardens at home. Amir, you garden at home, and you've got a plot. And Danny, you have got a sort of courtyard garden. I'm not sure about there. Oh, can we see what that says? Can anyone read that?
If
I try to something, it kicks me out of live. Okay. If I try to talk, it kicks me out of live. Okay. So Ali, just put stuff in the chat. If you, cool. Okay. so I think to me, when you've got a plot and you've got a garden, there's maybe two different ways of approach, or two different mindsets when you're talking about flowers, or certainly with some people. I've not got an allotment plot. I've never had an allotment plot actually, so I might be talking out of turn, and please tell me if I am. But my desire in my garden is, well, it's like I've got so many blooming animals and whatever. It's almost like a little mini farm out there. But I'm trying to get things tidier, and I'm desperate to have more colour, even if the chickens keep raking everything up every time I turn my back. But I think people with a garden want to use flowers both for the beauty of them, as well as the pollinators, as well as the scent and all that sort of stuff. But I think you two actually, Amir and Danny, I think you both use flowers in your allotment plots in a similar way. Yeah, the pollinators, you want to attract them, but you always want that beauty and that the smell and the nice, the beauty of having flowers in your plots. Am I right? Or am I talking rubbish?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, this year, Danny hands-on as one in terms of that tulip display. I mean, that tulip display was absolutely amazing. But yeah, it's that really, because you can plant and have colour so early as well, with like tulips, and then that follows on with the flowers. In fact, I did have a question for everyone, like what's popping right now in your garden?
this vein in my head, this peonies, yeah.
Actually, I find this time of year, because I've not planned it very well, I find it almost like there's a gap, because you've got all the the spring bulbs, and they're all going over now, and I'm waiting on my the summer bulbs come up. My gladioli are about that size, and I've got lots and lots of little tiny little seedlings of flowers, but at the moment for me, what's popping is the Aquilegia, so the perennials that you're not having. It's not annuals really, unless I buy annuals in, which I do to a degree as well. But it's the perennials. It's the Aquilegia. The peonies are just about to pop. That's what's keeping my garden going at the minute. There's a lot of promise. Oh, and there's also the perennial cornflowers. Is that Centora or whatever? Which I've hacked loads away. This sounds really bad, but the garden was completely infested with them, to the point where literally there was huge bushes of these. So some of them, I've let some of them stay, and I've got rid of a lot. And the other thing that's infesting the garden is poppies, and I've still got loads of them, and they're popping, but I've had to get rid of some of those as well to give me space. So that's what's happening in mine.
Nice. Yeah, I've got at the moment in my front garden, I've got like a purple border, literally all different types of alliums. I just thought, I love alliums. Why not try all of them? So I've got like Purple Sensation, Purple Rain, Ambassador. Ambassador is definitely my most favorite allium because they're the tallest and they're fluffy as well. So they get really fluffy sphere. And so I've got literally just lavender and alliums in the whole of my front garden. And they're just really, really effective. But I agree with you. It's that really, isn't it? Like having different flowers sort of carry things, which is nice. I'm looking forward to my back garden because I've got a lot of tender plants like cannas, and at Malvern I bought a few gingers as well, the ginger tubers. So looking forward to trying ginger. Hedychium, the flowering, they get really, really tall, a bit like cannas and a little bit like banana type leaves, and they get very tall. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
I think a lot of mine are already flowering, mainly because they're still in the polytunnel. So all my marigolds are just like a sea of marigolds in the polytunnel right now. I've got Livingstone daisies. I've got quite a lot of those that are coming through now. I've planted my dahlias out, and most of them, like Amir, I've got my alliums. What are they called? Forget-me-nots. I've got quite a lot of forget-me-nots, and I actually love them. People think that they're so annoying, that they're really invasive, but I'm happy for them, and then I just dig them up, move them somewhere else. But my pond, I've got aquatic ones as well. So I've got pond forget-me-nots as well. So they're starting to bulk out on the pond as well. So nice. I've got quite a lot of blue. I think blue is pretty much what's dominating the garden right now. But most of mine are pushed on because they're in the polytunnel waiting to go out on the new plot, and that's the only reason why. So
Who's got a dog?
It's not mine.
Not mine. Well, I have got alliums certainly as well, thinking about it. But things like the Shasta daisies, and I've got zinnias that are just starting. I've got calendula that have just got buds there. Another 3 weeks. Oh no. Ali does get chucked out every time she talks. Oh no.
Oh dear.
There is a God. No.
Oh, that's terrible.
I've actually got quite a few tulips still popping up. I think it's because I planted them later. So they were just tulip bulbs that I should have planted a lot longer, a lot earlier. But they're coming through still, and it's quite a nice surprise to see them. So I'm going to do the same again.
Irises, they're coming up. There's some lovely purple irises and some geum. They're just starting. I mean, they're quite insignificant just now because a lot of the perennials that I've got, they're either just in this year or just in last year because I only moved to this house in August 22. So sort of making it all from scratch again. But
I have found that geum has gone absolutely mad on my plot this year. I only planted it last year, and it was just a clump that I bought from a garden centre, but it's gone absolutely mad, really tall, and it's really spread. Not so much like I can see it growing from the middle now, so the flowers sort of get really tall and then flop sideways, and in the middle now I can see more growth just coming. So,
right.
Yeah, it is going a bit mad. But the bees love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, don't talk to me about bees. I've got a story about that in a second. Claire, hi, and Jem in the garden. Hi, you've joined as well. Thanks so much for joining us. If you have got any questions, please pop them in the comments. Maybe use capitals or some way of make it obvious that it's a question, and we'll all keep an eye on what you're saying. And Benny, hiya Benny, how you doing from Norway? Yay, good to see you. Yeah, bees. So obviously bees are pollinators, and it's great to have bees around. I've got one beehive at the moment, and when you've got a beehive, they don't necessarily pollinate and sort of stoat about your garden. They tend to go up to about 3 miles away, and then they'll go and gather nectar and pollen, etc., and bring it back to the hive. But as of last week, I bought a second hive because my plan was to split the hive that I've got so that I have 2 beehives, double the chance of getting nice honey, etc., etc. And I was walking up the path to let the chickens out this evening just to have a run around, and I've got one of these plastic cupboards, that are about 5 foot tall, and you can put gardening stuff in them and whatever. And I noticed over the winter that there was a hole in it, and it might have happened when we moved here, but there was a hole, and I've got some of my beekeeping supplies in there. So I thought, I never really thought anything of it until yesterday and today, when it sounds like there's a swarm in there. So I think either my bees have swarmed or another swarm has come, and there's loads of bees in there. So I think tomorrow I'll be donning the gear, and I'll be going in there to see if there is a swarm in there, and I'll be putting that in my new hive, and getting a free colony out of it, which is quite good. But it's they do what they want sometimes. But
I actually went in the polytunnel 2 days ago, and I was just about to give all the plants good water, and I looked down at the marigolds, and there was a little honeybee, and he tucked himself underneath one of the marigold petals. He was having a good old snooze in the evening, so I just thought, I bottom watered. I thought, I'll let him carry on having his little sleep. But yeah,
nice.
That is so sweet. Last year, I discovered a bumblebee nest in my shed.
I remember that.
Yeah, I filmed it as well. There was hundreds of them. I've never seen hundreds of bumblebees. It was. But they're so docile, so they never. We just left them to it. And they moved on. But yeah, it was amazing to see and hear as well, because they make all these really interesting. Obviously, they buzz like a bee, but there was but there was these really interesting sort of like piping sounds that they were making from the nest. It was
lovely. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different varieties of types of bees. When before we moved, we'd go out. We always have a swing seat, and we sit in the swing seat like two old age pensioners, sit in the swing seat and let the chickens out and have a great time. And we had a bird box that for about 3 years blue tits nested in, but this year the blue tits didn't nest, and we started seeing bees, big furry bees, bumbly type bees, and we're looking, and I looked up and eventually discovered that they're tree bumblebees, and tree bumblebees quite often go into hives, into bird boxes, or into sort of nooks and crannies in trees, and they were really, really, as you say, dead docile. But what happens is the males they sort of fly around outside the bird box, as it was in this case, and then the virgin queens fly out, and then they get pounced on by a male, and then the two of them just fly around having some fun, and just fly around for ages and ages and ages, and they bump into you and they fall down the ground and they're still there and eventually get up, and that's it, and that's done. But it's amazing. 1 minute there's no bumblebees outside, and the next there's all these males giving it, look at me, waiting on the females to come out of the hive. It's amazing. Really, really good. But anyway, that's not flowers, although obviously bees are important for flowers. I've got a question for you. There is a type of flower that I don't know how to say. I'm going to spell it and tell me how you think you say it. And let's see if I can spell it right. Tagetes, maybe?
Tagetes.
Is that how you say it?
That's how I say it.
Called it tagetes.
No, I've actually seen some Americans saying tagetes, so I've seen it said a few different ways. So
thank goodness for that, because I think Jane's allotment, I think she must have said sometime, I think she maybe said tagetes or something, and I was like, I don't think that's how you say it, Jane. I think it's tagetes. And she's like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think sometimes I always struggle as well if I'm reading a plant out or something. It's my worst thing as well, of saying one of the plants and you don't know it, and you think, God, how am I going to say this right? Do you know what I mean? And especially with a Welsh accent as well. That seems to be it. I get quite a few comments about the way I say things, like roof. They like me to say. They actually request me sometimes to say certain words, like, "Can you say this on your next video?" Which is hilarious. But Jean's just said that she pronounces it the same way as me. So
that's good. So what would you say then? Let's go around the room then, and anyone on the chat as well. What is your favourite flower and why?
Go on, Amir, you go first.
That is really tough. To be honest, I would probably say I do like planners because they're like bananas. I just like that real, and you can get the. I really like the ones with the dark foliage. Like you can get ones that are almost like black. I've got a red velvet that's almost like got black leaves, like bronzy black leaves, and they just have really nice flowers. But it's also with flower. I do like the foliage as well. Like some dahlias, I'm really interested in them because I like the ones with the really dark foliage.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The only thing about dahlias I don't like is that they're a bit more high maintenance than what I really want. So I've got dahlias on the plot, and I just haven't got the time to be digging them up, so looking after them, making sure that they don't rot, and then but it's a bit of a faff really just for some flowers. But I still got them. But I would probably say mine are probably, this is quite a boring one really, but probably the forget-me-nots. I really like them because I find them really, really reliable. And I just like the small little flowers. But I also probably a red sunflower. I really like those. So I try my hardest. They're one of my biggest things that I love, but I also treat them so poorly because I always seem to never pop them on enough. I never seem to plant them at the right time. And then I see other people I've given the sunflowers to, and they're about 8 foot tall. Mine are still hanging on for life. But I've been better this year. I planted some out last week, and they're growing okay. So, but I still need to plant them a lot more. But we shall see. But yeah, I do love a sunflower.
I think, I mean, I do like dahlias, but they cost me a fortune because I can never get them through the winter. I keep, I'll dig them up and I'll try and dry them and I'll wrap them up and I'll look after them. And every single one rotted this year. I think Jane had a similar problem. And I love the, and it's maybe not as good for the pollinators, but I love the real big cactus ones, the really big in your face ones. The architecture, probably Amir, with the canna lilies as well, they're architectural plants. And I know you've got some fantastic architectural plants that I am so jealous of. But I do love dahlias, but yeah, they are a pain and they do cost a fortune.
Yeah. I found the ones that survived this year, but it's probably a bit more cooler where I am. And all the ones that I planted in the raised beds, the metal raised beds, I just left them in and I just mulched them with bark. They've all survived. So I noticed all my.
Yeah, does that keep them sort of warm as well? I suppose with the metal.
I didn't think it would, but for some reason I thought being raised off the actual ground. But I think it's more because they were sheltered. So because there's other beds behind that stop the wind from blowing on the metal, and I think it's more that they were more sheltered. If we would have probably had a really hard winter, then perhaps I might have lost them. But I've noticed that my honker black lilies, they're starting to come back, and I was really worried about all these things, but they battle through. But I think a lot of people probably think that lilies, tulips are probably my favorite, but I do like tulips, but I prefer a sunflower. But yeah,
I struggle a lot. I really struggle with echinacea, like coming back.
Oh yeah.
I kill them off all the time, but I keep buying them from a garden centre, and hopefully they'll come back. But I've lost so many. I do like the echinacea. I know the butterflies love them.
For flowers that come back, I find the really easy ones are a Rudbeckia. And they're really, I mean, they give you that late summer into autumn colour.
Yeah.
And the only thing about it is they're mostly yellows and oranges and things, and sometimes you get a bit bored with that after a while. I think it's like yellow daffodils in the spring and then yellow Rudbeckia in the autumn. But I do like those. My favourite, I think, it's probably got to be sweet peas. And I really. A few years ago, I got really so into them. I joined, and I was laughed at by my family. I joined the Sweet Pea Society of the UK. I didn't stay in it because it was, I think everyone, the average age was 90. But I love sweet peas because they are sort of easy. You can grow them in the autumn, you can grow them in the spring, and they can get munched, and you can end up with sweet peas that are too big before you get the chance to put them out. But this is amazing. The more you pick, the more you get, and they're just I think they're amazing. So probably them, and then from a bulb perspective, I do love tulips. I do love tulips. The variety that you get just are stunning.
Yeah, normally I leave mine in, but I'm actually trying something new. It's in my video, I think.
Yeah.
I did mention tulips last week, no?
You did, yeah, and you also.
Yeah, you were talking about maybe taking them out, I think, yeah.
Okay, so this
Storing
week,
them. Yeah.
this week I've taken them out, and I'm trying to. Carol Klein, she does this thing where she just tilts a bucket on a 45-degree, and she just puts all the bulbs in with just the bits of soil that's left on them,
Uh-huh.
and she just lets them all dry out there, and that's what I'm trying this year because I didn't want to leave the bulbs in because I wanted to plant more in, and I put 500 bulbs in that one raised bed, and it was a sea. It was a sea. It was a sea of reds and oranges and yellows, and I am actually gonna donate a few of those out to plot holders. I know Linda is gonna have a pile, and Cheryl, I think, as well. So they'll start going out to the other plot holders, I think.
Nice.
But yeah, and Amir, if you're coming to visit, you can take a pile home as well. You're welcome to us. Yeah, I've just seen Benny just said now that straw flowers as well. So I've grown the giant ones and the short ones as well. I love straw flowers. They're so weird.
Yeah.
But I do really like them.
Yeah, so it looks like straw flowers, definitely, dahlias, tulips, and sunflowers seem to be the general consensus with folks.
Yeah, nice.
Is there any flowers that you don't like? Maybe being a bit controversial.
Yeah, I don't like dandelions. I don't like buttercups.
Nah, that's cheating.
They're the ones I don't like.
Do you know, I don't like marigolds. I hate the smell.
Yeah.
I'd grow them for obvious reasons, but I don't like them. I don't like them at all. And it's a bit like geraniums as well. I hate the smell of geraniums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing a marigold this year called Mr. Majestic. So I don't know if you've seen them before. So they're like dark red and yellow stripes going all the way around like a spin wheel sort of thing. And yeah, so I'll show them on my next video perhaps. But so I agree. They're always the samey sort of thing. So I've done quite a few different marigolds this year, so I want to have like a big row on either side of the polytunnel. But Robin's just said snapdragons are her favorite. I know that Robin sends me so many snapdragon seeds. They're all growing well as well. So thank you, Robin, for sending those. I need to plant them out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an actual flower that I dislike really, though. I just think sometimes I need to move them to other places, but I'm happy to do that. But yeah, I'm always happy with moving all the plants around and having as many flowers as I can really. But yeah, I got so many
time, don't they? And they do. Yeah, it is nice.
I think like a lot of people hate nasturtiums and things because they always they overwinter stuff. But I'm doing about six different varieties of nasturtiums this year, like red ones, pink ones. I'm doing. So yeah, so I have got loads of different versions, and I've dotted them specifically. I even had a map of the plot, and I put them all purposely where they are. And every bed is not going to be the same. So there will be a carpet of different color nasturtiums. But
nice.
They're good. They're easy. They're quite robust little things. You know, the seedlings are. Do you know what I really hate when you're trying to grow things like petunias. And they're tiny, minuscule seeds, and you get this carpet of tiny seedlings. Whereas you get nasturtiums, and they're in a wee tiny shallow pot, and they're like that length, and you're like, well, hey, you can swing them about, and they don't really care.
Yeah. I agree with Steve in the comments. Nasturtiums, they taste good. They are nice.
They're nice. Yeah, definitely.
That man will eat anything, I tell you now.
I think I agree with you with chrysanthemums as well, Steve. I'm not sold on chrysanthemums either.
Has anyone ever eaten tulips? I know you can eat them, but have you tried
tulips? No, dahlia tubers.
Oh, dahlia
tubers. So they were originally grown to be eaten, weren't they? So I've never actually done it because I think they just cost too much. They'll be very expensive. Potato to eat, so.
Well, maybe you could have a very posh dinner and folk round, so you could have all the most expensive things you grow. You could have your asparagus, and you could have your maybe ginger, and then you could have some dahlia tubers.
That's not encouraging to me. I don't know. I don't think.
Nah.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Going back to like sunflowers as well. I just think sunflowers. Sometimes they have a bad rep as well, because if you don't take the seeds off, then they drop on the floor, and they can attract vermin as well and things like that. But I read the other day that sunflowers that they planted, I think it was about 8 million sunflowers over Chernobyl when and they found that sunflowers actually clean your soil, and they actually absorb radioactive waste. So they're actually using sunflowers now to clean the soil in Chernobyl, which I think is fascinating. Just to think that a plant, which looks amazing, can also clean the soil and get rid of those nasty things.
Well, the next time that I have a radioactive leak at the house, I'll make sure I've got sunflowers. Jean was just saying there, you can eat hostas too. Yes, I know. We're talking about flowers, I guess, but hostas are one of my favourite plants. But I don't know why I let them be my favourite plant, because they get annihilated by slugs. Annihilated. I've got 3 huge ones at the back in pots, and it's a dry bit in the garden, and they're fantastic. Everywhere else, usually I get to August before they get annihilated, but they're getting annihilated now because of the slugs and snails this year. So, but yeah, you can eat them if you can beat the slugs and snails to them.
I don't know what's happened to my hostas, because I potted them up and I brought them in, and they were in the polyton. They were looking amazing through spring, because obviously they were protected. And then as soon as I took them outside, I don't know whether or not they had a bit of a shock from the temperatures, but I thought I matched it quite well. But I don't tend to get many slugs that mess with the hostas, really. I do use nematodes on my plot, so it might be that. And I also use a lot of the Christmas tree. What's it called? The Christmas tree.
The
pine needles. The needles. I use them a lot around my hostas as well, because I know that I found that the slugs hate going over those. So I've got those all around the back of by the pond, the pine needles. So yeah, they're doing okay, but yeah.
Oh no, nightmare, absolute nightmare. And I try everything. I've tried, Linda.
I'm on the line.
Not the sort of
Linda has
garlic does work. I do plant a lot of garlic close to my lettuce and things like that, because I think it does off the slugs, because since doing it, I've not had that much damage. Although I'm a bit like you on my allotment, I don't seem to get that much slug damage, but I get more at home.
Yeah,
I'm trying this year. Jane from Jane's
growing garden.
It's not Jane's allotment, it's Jane's growing garden nowadays. Yeah, she had recommended it's a horse bedding. It's made out of miscanthus grass, and you can get eucalyptus scent and lavender scent and whatever. And she uses that in her chicken coop. And I was looking for something a bit different in my chicken coop, because I use at the moment, and it sort of sticks to the eggs when the eggs are still damp, when they've just been laid. So I got this miscanthus horse bedding in the chicken run, but she said actually lots of folk have been using it as a mulch, and because it's not dead sharp, but it's not smooth either, and they've been having great results. So I've been liberally spreading that around the garden, and then using the nematodes and bear traps and copper rings and you name it, and a combination of things tends to hold things at bay for a while. But I'm still. I think the hostas just really get mulched. So, Robin saying hosta called Fragrant Bouquet has the most amazing smelling blooms. I have not grown that one, and I have grown about 25 different varieties of hosta. I didn't bring them all with me when I moved house a couple of years ago, but I brought a few. But I've never grown Fragrant Bouquet, so I am going to look that up.
That does sound
I do love them, Fragrant Bouquet.
Yeah, I do like flowers for the scent as well. You mentioned sweet peas. This year, I've got a blue sweet pea. I've never tried it. I can't remember the name, but it's like a blue sort of sweet pea. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that's like.
I'm doing Kent blue peas. So you can eat them, but they are the most beautiful sweet pea. They're not a sweet pea, so I shouldn't call it that, but they're the most beautiful pea flower.
Uh-huh.
They are royal blue. There's no other way.
Nice.
They are black. They are almost black, but they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, I've grown them for about 3 years now, and I thought I lost my crop, and then I found an old bag of seeds that Terry King had sent me where I'd only used half. And
Oh,
out
okay.
of the germination, I think I about 28. I only had about 6 that germinated, but I was glad that those 6
Uh-huh.
that planted. And I seen in Jane's last video actually, which
Yeah.
I choked on my wine when I watched that, because she said, "Oh, I've got these like Kent blue things, Kent blue peas, and I don't really care for them." I was thinking, I sent you those seeds, and they were precious. They were precious to me. I was straight on the phone. You don't care for those Kent blue peas? I sent you those.
Bill and Val sent me the Kent blue peas,
Yeah.
and I started them in the polytunnel, and they got annihilated. I was raging. They get absolutely eaten to bits, as did all my sweet peas, as did some ordinary sort of garden peas. I can't remember what variety they were. Anyway, and I was like, I can't believe I've been sent these. And Annie sent me another lot, and so I really mollycoddled them. So I've only got about 8 plants, but they're growing, so I'm just going to grow them and just try and get some seed from them this year.
That's how I heard about them, was Bill and Val. They sent me some the first year, and they were the ones that I lost. And then luckily I messaged Terry King, and then he said, when I see you in Malvern, I think this was like 2 years ago, and bless him, he carried them around for about 3 or 4 hours in his pocket until he found me. And then he came up and said, I've been carrying these all day for you. And then bless him. So I had a new stock. But they are so beautiful, and you can eat them as sugar snaps as well, which are really nice. But I never do. I always leave them.
They said don't eat them as Munch 2 or sugar snap or whatever, rather than let them go to.
Yeah, but I never do. I always leave them to that. They just go to seed, and then But Amir, if I save some, I'll send you some for next year. So
yeah, for next year. Yeah. What made me talking about Malvern? What really made me laugh, Danny? What you did at Malvern was when Jane was at a flower stall, and Danny was saying really loudly, "Oh, is that Jane Kelly from YouTube?" And like everyone sort of turned.
She was mortified. I went, "Oh my God, is that Jane Kelly?" And she honestly wanted to throttle me. Everyone literally turned around like,
"Ooh!"
I was like, "I cannot believe I've met you. I cannot believe." She wanted to throttle me.
I think she got a discount, Danny. I think she got a discount. So
a discount as well, then, yeah.
But that was so funny.
I went there with such a big plan in my head to buy a lot of flowers as well. And I came back with just a bath, a tin bath.
As you do.
Yeah.
I am thinking about maybe coming down to the autumn.
I think you should.
But you're blooming miles away. You're miles away. And the thing is, if I came down, I don't fancy the drive. But if I came down in public transport, how can I get all these lovely flowers and plants back home? You know, so that's my dilemma. But in Scotland, we used to, literally at this exact time of year, we used to have Gardening Scotland over in Ingleton near Edinburgh, and that was just the biz. You know, that was just like several trolley loads of stuff in the car until I couldn't fit anything else in, and then we drive back home. But it went bankrupt after COVID, but it's starting again next year, so I'm all very excited. There's hardly anyone. I mean, there's a couple of folk that I follow on YouTube, that like Mark, etc., that are up here, but there's no one else up here to let's have a YouTube channel meet up. It'll be like me.
Eli and Kate's in Scotland, right?
Who? Sorry.
Eli and Kate.
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll need to look them up.
Oh, they won't like that.
Well, you don't know everyone.
Well, I do. They make. I didn't know everyone.
Tell you who else knows everybody? Ali.
Oh, Ali.
Every time I find a new channel, I go, "This is a nice channel," and I look at the comments, and Ali is always there. She's always there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Annie mentioned Gardeners World Live.
Yeah. When is it, Annie? Because I am tempted. I am tempted. So let me know when it is. I think you should come, Mags, but you shouldn't be coming for the flowers. That's only a bonus. The bonus is that we all meet up, we all have lunch together. It was really weird seeing like people like Amir because I was just so casual about it. I was like, because I speak to him quite often. It didn't seem like I was meeting strangers or I was a bit.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
right. That's right.
Steve Digwell, Steve House, he sent his blooming granddaughter over as if she was a fan and said, "Oh, can you sign? Are you Danny?" I caught him. Did he? I caught him in the glimpse of my eye. He sent her over, and I foiled his plan because he wanted to try and see if I would be one of those people and go, "Oh yeah, of course." God, I actually hate people think that I would like that type of side of it, and I never know how to deal when someone because. I've always said, and we're nothing normal. We're not normal to anyone else who the gardens, but to some people who watch us every week, they do get a bit excited if they see you and they scream your name, and it scared me at Malvern. It scared me at Malvern, but it was nice to see. But yeah.
Well, if I ever get to the point when people scream my name, Danny, I'll appreciate what you're talking about.
Honestly. It's not. Trust me. It's not often. It's not often. But at Malvern, you're in an area where someone might see you that they know. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
But if you come to the autumn one, I'll give you a grow up dibber. How about that?
Have you got some of those left? Oh gosh, that's well worth it.
3 or 4 left now. Yeah, you've got one, haven't you? Did I give you one?
Yeah, I've got one. Yeah.
And what do you use it for, Amir? Have you got it like placed in a little picture frame, or are you just getting it dirty every day?
Yeah, I'm going to put it when I sort out my potting shed. It's going to have pride of place. Yeah.
I hope you use it though, because I've heard a few people say, "Oh no, I'm not going to use it." I'm like, Linda, I had to give her 2, one for her to use and one for her to put in the shed.
Yeah.
Danny, you need to give me half a dozen because I lose them every day. I don't know. I've got a dibber hole somewhere, and I end up using a Sharpie or something. You know, that's it.
I use the dibber when I'm filming, and then afterwards I'm just like this with my finger.
Yeah. So when is Gardener's World? And is it in Birmingham? Is that where it
Annie
is?
said Sunday the 16th is the final day and the only day I could go to. Is this June? June?
It must be June then. Yeah, it must be June.
Oh, is it? Oh, well, that's
soon.
Jean Halliwell. I have got my dip. Jean, has it arrived? No, that couldn't have arrived yet because I only sent. Jean, has your dibber arrived? Because that shouldn't have arrived yet. But if it does, then wow.
Good old post.
I think I only sent it 2 days ago. Oh, right. Yeah, it's on its way. So I find I'm terrible with post, honestly, with my uni work and everything else. I always say, I'll send you seeds. That's my thing. I'll send you seeds. And I get them all here. And then I never get time to send them.
I'm the same. Honestly, I'm a
nightmare. I am a total nightmare. And then there's some folk that says to me, "Do you want some seeds?" And you say, "Yeah, thanks very much." And they arrive the next day in a lovely, beautiful card and all well packaged. And I'm like sitting there going, "Oh, geez."
I know. Robin and Ali. So Robin will say, "Oh, I'll send you some seeds," and I'll say, "Yeah, I'll send some seeds to someone as well." Robin's will come to me before I've even remembered that they're going to be posted out. But Jean, hopefully it'll arrive because let me know because I sent another 2 as well. One to England, and they've said they've not received it yet, and that was over a week or so ago. But I finally got on top of sending things, but we'll see. Let me know.
Right, I'm gonna ask, maybe not ask another question, but make another sort of statement around flowers. And it's a shout out to you, Amir, because to me, flowers are the benefits are we all know the benefits, but we should be talking about them. But the pollinators and the sacrificial flowers and the beauty, the smell, etc. But I think they have a great place where people's well-being, mental well-being is concerned. Physical well-being, absolutely, but mental well-being is concerned as well. And case in point, when you look at Amir's videos, the cinematography. Is that the right term? Absolutely beautiful. You have this real way of getting the nice bit of music, but still enabling people to hear the sounds of the bees and the wild, the birds and everything. And then you have these lovely
that voice over the top. Honestly, he could sell anything, Amir. Honestly,
you absolutely could. Absolutely, it's just you've got that lovely, soft, really nice voice. Yeah. It's not grating. It's just like, yeah.
And then honestly, you've got someone like Big Green Fingers, and it's like having two tins banged together. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't do it, man.
Poor Steve.
He's my neighbour. He's just down the road. Do you know he's always at the same garden centres as me? But we still haven't bumped into each other yet. But we were
well
always.
Done, Amir.
Amir, send your son over and ask him to get Steve to give him an autograph and play him at his own game.
To try that. But Matt, you say that, it's so true. Recently, right outside I'm not plugging my video that I just posted.
Oh, here you go.
But I did. But recently, right outside our offices, there was just this boring stretch of lawn, and the groundkeepers this year earlier on, it was late last year, they made a wildflower meadow, and it's all come up this year, like really early. It's got all the cornflowers and the daisies and the poppies, and it just looks absolutely, honestly, it's like one huge rug of just colour, and everyone that just comes out there, it just makes you feel, you just look at it and you just think, all that colour, it's just so nice. And I did film a little bit of that as well. I do like trying to get a little bit creative with things, but I enjoy it.
No, well, you do a great job, Amir, because I am every time I see you do something, I'm like that. God, that's a really good. Oh, I need to do that. And I never do because I'm just running about like a headless chicken. But no, I really like it.
He made Jane Kelly cry once on one of her videos. I sent it to her saying, "Oh, go and watch Amir's new video," and then she was like, "I'm sat here sobbing my eyes out." I was like, "It's bad." I was like, "It's bad, isn't it?" But she was like, and she was like, "No, Danny, I'm not saying. I was joking, obviously." She was like, "It's such a sweet video," but yeah,
she did message me. She did message me. It was really sweet, but yeah.
You just got that. You have got that way of presenting in a certain way. Yeah, your competition for next year, you are, Amir. I'm telling you now for your
Steve says Amir could sell ice cream to Eskimos.
Someone said, "Oh, sell a double bed to the Pope." I thought that was hilarious.
That's your challenge, Amir. Hi, Nicola. Don't worry being late. I'm sure you'll catch up. So I didn't see anybody. Well, no, I did. There was a few people talking about their favourite flowers, but does anyone want to post what the flowers they detest are and why? Because they are, flowers are fantastic, but yeah, some of them are just horrible.
I still like Crocosmia. I know a lot of people find it a bit of a nightmare, but I do go a little bit mad with Crocosmia, to be honest, in my garden. I even went to, I don't know if anyone's been actually, there's it's actually not far from Steve, Pan Global Plants. It's like a garden centre in Gloucestershire, and they have quite unusual plants from around the world. And I actually went there to get some, I think it's called Crocosmia paniculata, because I saw it on Gardener's World. I saw it and I was like, wow, I want that in my garden. And I managed to get it from there, and I've got that in my garden as well. And it looks a little bit like Lucifer though, so it's quite decorative, and it is quite nice. It's quite red and orange, but I know they can go mad. But
it is nice, and I loved it until I moved to where I moved to, and literally it's. And have you ever tried? I literally had. Fortunately, my next door neighbour had a lady-sized pickaxe. I didn't realise then. A pickaxe for ladies, and he lent me it. And honestly, I was literally pickaxing, and it's rock hard. Pickaxing.
I think Tony O'Neill's got the same size pickaxe. I've seen it.
That size, no.
So, Robin's asked the question as well in the chat? And I think I know the answer as well. I want to see if
those delphinium seeds. I started them in March for like 6 weeks. Oh, I found a lot of things have stalled a bit though. I don't know whether it's just the lack of heat and the lack of sunshine, because it's it's just been, things have really stalled. My onions, oh my god, geez, I don't know whether I'm ever going to get onions out of them, but I don't know.
Yeah, so with the delphiniums, if they're seedlings, I don't know if I'm not sure how you've sown them, if you direct sowed them outside or in pots or anything, but from my experience, I found that the delphiniums, they really do need a lot of feed as well, especially fertilizer. Once they start becoming seedlings, they're very, very greedy. So maybe give them a feed and try and boost them. But another thing that actually stunts delphiniums is actually nematodes. Because when I use my nematodes, I'm sounding like the nematodes king now. But so if you use nematodes in the garden, your delphiniums do stunt as well. It could be possibly to do with shade as well, but also drainage as well. Delphiniums like a lot of drainage. So if you've had a lot of rain in the last couple of months, then it could be there as well. But if they're seedlings and they're indoors, then maybe just give them a feed, because they are, honestly, they'll take out the feed out of that compost like that. So yeah, maybe give them a little boost, and maybe they'll carry on. But yeah,
or do like I did and buy them already at about like a foot tall, and then mine are flowering now. But I think seedlings, just what Danny says basically.
Yeah.
Annie's talking about borage.
I love borage.
When it comes to powdery mildew, borage is a fantastic companion plant, but it can get a little bit invasive as well at times. I think.
I'm brutal with it. I always chop it back before it even gets to that stage. So, borage to me is not a flower; it's a plant food. So I'm a bit. Planted out now for about 5 weeks. They got a good dose of granulates. I'll try a liquid feed, and also maybe add some sand in or something underneath if they're not. And they just probably might be sulking, but they should catch back up.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm growing okra this year, but I'm really excited to see what the flower's like, because apparently it's a little bit like it's part of the hibiscus family, I think. So it has like a similar flower. I'm looking forward. I was just really excited about the flower more than the actual veg. That's a new one. But again, everything, I agree with you. I'm the same as well. Things have stalled a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that. I thought, having a polytunnel as well is a bit different, because you seem to have that controlled environment a bit better. But I've noticed as well, like I put my beans out, and I thought, we had all that nice sun, and then they started to grow, and all of a sudden now it rained, and they just seem to just be sulking now a bit as well. So I think everything's having a bit of a we had a horrible year last year, and it's very similar this year as well, and I'm predicting now we'll have these like massive heat waves in the summer, and it's no.
Yeah, and it's just not.
Last year we got a great certainly up here, June was scorching. June was really, really nice, and then basically after June it just rained and was dull the rest of the summer. So I'm hoping, we had a nice week or so in May. I'm hoping that we get a good June at least again, because it really needs it. Things really need to pick up a bit. But can't be helped. What part of Wales are you in, Danny?
The best part. I'm from South Wales. I'm about maybe 15 minutes from the Severn Bridge, Prince Charles Bridge, now King Charles Bridge. Now is that called?
So my sister-in-law lives in Caerphilly. Are you far from them?
Ooh, your sister's a rough, and she married a ruffian. She did, Mags. I'm telling you now.
She did.
I can tell. Yeah, that's not far from Tony O'Neill and Malcolm Kingswell, so that's not far from it. But that's probably about like 25 minutes from me, 20 minutes from me. Yes,
all right.
So if next time you're coming to visit, Mag, drive past, love.
Wave, smiling waves.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. Digwa said I'm too close for comfort.
I'm just reading the messages here.
Brambles and nettles.
Brambles and
shooting at-
nettles, yeah. Oh god, yeah. I've got a fantastic pair of gloves that I can put on and I can pull out the nettles, quite the thing. But more than once I've not had it secured at the wrist, and my jacket's rolled up and I've got like rings of nettle stings all the way around.
They do say though, it's good for you, Mags. When I was doing my training the first time round in the hospital, there's actually therapies around being stung by nettles, and some people do get stung once a week, and some people get stung once a day, and it actually does boost your immune system. But I'd rather not. Do you know what I mean? It's like.
Well, actually, I follow a girl in America, a beekeeper. She's a young girl, and she does the same with bees. She makes bee stinger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, because when I get a sting, I'm very not worried, but I'm very conscious about it. But I get a sting, and then like my hand swells up or whatever. So I'm very, I don't know whether I'll get better with time or worse with time. I think there's two schools of thought there. So. Yeah, I don't think I'll do the whole bee sting treatment. I can cope with.
Siggy Roberts has just said, my husband was born in Pontypool and grew up in Rhyl. I'm actually a Pontypool boy, so yeah, that's really strange.
Mm-hmm.
Small world.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Lemon pepper. I think with stingy nettles though, I think they got. I think every plant's got a benefit, and just why do they sting so much? I mean, and they irritate you for days, and but yeah, I'm lucky now. This new plot that I've taken on, I'm really happy with the fact that I didn't have as much stick as I thought I was going to have, because I thought I was expecting more, but
have you decided what you're going to call it yet?
No, I haven't. There's been a few names that have come up, and they just don't sit well for me. And I think the same happened when I went on the fig and olive plot. And then one day it just came to me that there was a fig tree and an olive tree, and that's how it came about. But there's nothing. There is an apple and a pear tree on there, but I don't want to be the apple and pear plot. So it'll come to me when it does. But yeah, there's no bindweed on there. There's no mare's tail on there. I cannot believe it. So that was the main reason why I thought I'm moving there. Well, there is a little bit of bindweed, but it's coming from next door in. So once I dig that bit up, then yeah.
I've never seen bindweed in any of my gardens. Is that something that
you need to sell your soil? Let me tell you, you need to move and sell your house to a gardener.
It's not in my garden at the moment. It's everywhere in my garden. Like in my
really? No, haven't. Is it something that's more prevalent down south? I don't know.
Might be, but it's.
I tell you what really ties me in knots. Well, what we call sticky willy, which is cleavers.
There's nothing worse than a sticky willy, honestly, in your garden.
There is not, Danny. There is not.
There's not. But I found some of that at the back of my plot this spring. So that reminds me of my childhood, though, because we used to always throw it at people things on the way to school. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I can't believe you don't have bindweed. I remember I think it was on one of my lives, Emma from Emma's The Garden of Emma. Forget Me Not Emma. She purposely planted bindweed on her plot to climb up a trellis because she liked the flowers, and then everyone was like, "What?
Oh no!"
She actually took some bindweed and planted it on her plot, the trellis. So yeah, it was quite comical.
Oh God, no. Well, I think that's the least of my worries. I've got too much else to worry about with slugs, snails, cleavers, nettles, crocosmia, and poppies. That's my invasive species.
Yeah.
Oh, I love poppies.
Yeah, not when they pop up everywhere. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the wee ones, the Californian type ones that just self-seed everywhere.
Ah.
So, eating flowers.
Go on.
What flowers do you regularly eat, or do you prefer just to look at them?
I don't. I always
Nasturtium.
I get shocked. Honestly, I'm too traditional. I'm too Welsh. When I think of people eating these things, I think there's enough growing in your garden that you do not need to be. I know someone who regularly makes a nettle omelette. I'm not that angry, and I'm not that hungry, and I really do think there's enough on your plot for you to not do that. I'm sure it's beneficial to you, but yeah, it baffles me when they say, "Oh, I'll eat nasturtiums. They're quite peppery." Okay, just use pepper. Use pepper then. Tell me why.
The leaves.
What about chive flowers? Have you not tried chive flowers?
No, I've heard battered chive flowers are beautiful.
Yeah.
So I might
Oh.
try that.
Battered courgette flowers, amazing.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I've had those.
Yeah.
But
My problem is that you can. Are you sure that you've got all the insects out before you?
Exactly.
That's the thing about flowers. You know, you can't really get in about them quite a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I suppose the point you don't know, you don't worry about. But you know, the leaves. I'm fine with the nasturtium leaves, but I don't really eat nasturtium.
That's pretty much like a fig, though, isn't it? Like a fig. Every fig has got a trapped wasp inside. That's right, isn't it? Do you know what this is, yeah? So
I heard that's how they pollinate them, don't they? They go inside.
So they go in and then they get encased in. But a fig's actually not a fruit. A fig is actually a flower, which is strange to think of that. It's actually an inverted flower.
Yeah.
I love figs. They're one of my favorite things.
They are. I mean, last year my in-laws have got 2 massive trees, and honestly, every year they just crop loads of figs. And
Nice.
I've got a second fig tree that I originally planned for the fig and olive plot before I took on that plot, so that probably will go on the new plot. But same what Robin just said now, but chive flowers make a lovely infused vinegar. That's true as well. I've had that as well, and that's really nice.
Yeah, nice.
I always feel guilty though, you know, when I think they've done all that work, and then we just think, "Oh, we'll take them off and eat them." I'm like, I don't know. I just feel a bit bad about a flower, so I always tend to try and leave them on there and all. But
do you not eat the scapes off your garlic, for example? I mean, that's just about a flower that hasn't quite got there yet.
No, I have tried it, and it's not, and I'm sure people really enjoy doing it. But I'd always think I'm happy to wait that extra month for a bit of garlic. I think some people, it's lovely that they do it and it's good for them, but I'm not as frugal as some other people are, where they think everything's got to be eaten or everything's got to have a purpose for it. I'm happy for some things to go on the compost heap.
Yeah.
And I know some people do ask me for them. They say, "Can I have the scapes?" You're welcome to them. You know, if I fancy a bit of garlic on an omelette or something, I'll just put a garlic clove on there rather than think, you know.
I like it. Take the tops off your broad beans either.
I don't like broad beans. I don't know why they scare me a bit. I think they're too intimidating. I just don't like the look of them. They're too big. The beans look too big for me.
Well, talking of large beans, I'm growing Greek Gigante.
Same.
Beans for the first time this year, and I think I'm doing what I did with squash last year. Last year was the first time I really went for it with squash, and oh my god, I've still got squash coming out my ears and out the freezer. And the Greek Gigante, I'm like, they look fantastic. So I've got these, I had loads of huge plants that I really had to plant out really quickly, and they're doing brilliantly. They're absolutely doing brilliantly.
The leaves on them are huge. The leaves on them are huge, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, they're getting that way, definitely. And then the other side of the structure, I've got these Nuplu Ultra peas that grow to about 10 foot tall as well. So I'm like, I'm really going for them as well. But I think they're past getting slug damaged, so we'll see how they go.
Yeah, my Greek I might have made a mistake though, because I planted my Greek Gigantes next to my runner beans, like on the same thing, which I haven't done before. And I'm worried then that it's going to intertwine. I'm just going to pick them when they're small, thinking that they're just normal runner beans, which you can eat them like that. But yeah, I'm be a bit careful of leaving them, because I normally leave them and just leave them till the vines actually just die down, and then I pick all the pods off. So
yeah. No, I
And
look
that's the
forward to doing that.
I do think sometimes we grow all these things. It's like you mentioned about squash, and then I've still got Greek gigantes from that. And like Diggle just said, no, he's got Greek gigantes beans for the next 5 years, and I'm the same. I got chutneys in there from 2021. I just think, God, I'm not. I'm making these things and I'm growing all these things, and the only thing I tend to do is I can a lot of tomatoes and things like that, and I use all those through the winter. But I think sometimes we get a bit too excited, and we think we'll need 4 courgette plants. Then we're like, we'll pickle them, we'll do all these things, we'll make cakes, and then you spend more time stressing about what you're going to do with the crop than what you really, really need. So I'm trying to be a bit more better this time. Says me with 4 trellises full of runner beans this year. So
my family comes up and they instantly say, my family come up and before they go, it's like, right, what can we have?
Yeah.
And they're like, right, tell me what you have. So they literally, it's like a swarm of locusts. They go through the garden and I'm like, oh, okay.
I like that though. I like the fact that I tend to, whenever I leave the garden, a lot of my food is given to other people. I remember last year I was giving beans away like no tomorrow, and then I remember Linda saying then, like, oh, we're using our last of our beans, which was like about a month ago. And I was thinking, and then she said, oh, I've still got tomatoes in the freezer. And I was thinking, yeah, I gave you them. So I gave all of my tomatoes away to her. She froze them. And then I didn't think to keep any for myself. So this year I'm going to be a bit more better because I gave all my beans away and then I didn't have any to keep through winter. So I'm going to be a bit better this year, planning to keep things and store things in the freezer a bit, I think.
So Siggy's saying, you said you were planting 2 lots of beans next to one another. Are you not worried about cross-pollination?
Yeah, now that is my worry, but I do think sometimes though, if you have beans on one side and beans on the other side, it will happen anyway, because I was picking on my Greek gigantes last year and some of them were runner beans. They weren't even Greek gigantes inside. I was thinking, how is this? It's on the same vine. But I think it was just I think it's just a luck of the draw now, Yeah.
I'm just a little bit as well like this. I say every year I'm going to save more seed and it just doesn't happen. Remember what happened to my sunflowers? I just gave it all to the birds.
Yeah.
I'm
like that. I really enjoy.
I always find sweet peas. I never save the seeds.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I do with sweet peas because they cost. They're the one thing. They're the one thing that I actively sit down at the plot at the end of summer and I spend hours doing these little jars of sweet peas. And it's because they hurt me when I go to the shop and you buy those sweet pea packets.
Yeah.
And they're like £3, £4 for about 10. And you're like,
and you get about a few seeds. I
know, so but it's great though. I love, as my sort of indulgence, I suppose. I love going, there's a company called Owl Acre. I didn't buy from them this year. Owl Acre sweet peas, maybe, and they have a huge variety of them. And I used to always get a whole sort of raft of sweet peas from them. But I'd always just, and I should just save the seed, but I just, I was always just either too lazy or just too lax or whatever, and I ended up buying them again. And this year, because they were all eaten by mice, I just got stuff from the garden centre. I had about five sweet pea plants of my own, and the rest are from the garden centre. So I don't know what they are, and we'll see what they're like. But they're not to write home about, probably, where saving seed's concerned. But we'll see.
Oh, I'm last year I did a whole video on it, and that was mainly because I wanted to make sure I saved some money, and I think I saved a lot of money this year, but I still spent hundreds of pounds on blooming seeds. But there's certain things I do try, but then I found saving my sunflower seeds. I tried plant, a lot of them didn't germinate. I don't know why. They just didn't seem to, germinate. So I was a bit gutted by it, really. But I still got about 120 sunflowers to plant out of mine, so don't feel bad for me.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the giant ones, I always direct sow them. I just find it's just easier.
Really?
Yeah. I put out a couple of my giant ones and they've already been eaten.
I just direct sow them on the plot. I've never done them in like little seed. I do all these smaller ones. I do the dwarf. I do them in trays, but all my giant every year I just plant the seed direct in the plot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try that next year.
I love teddy bear sunflowers.
Yeah, I've
I love
planted a
them.
lot of those this year.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they'll be okay. There's another one I've done as well. I can't remember what it's called now. It's a short one as well, but they're red. So hopefully they'll come up. But well, they
Nice.
will. The plants are like this, so they should be okay.
Yeah.
But this, I honestly think we just grow, and everything we grow, 90% of it slugs like, don't they? I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. Like slug
Yeah.
seems to like it all. So we just,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
do.
are we farming for us, or are we just farming for them? Like, I honestly think that they own us. I think we work for slugs, really. I think deep down we don't realize that we're just growing
Yeah.
all this stuff. We're actually slaves to slugs. That's
Yeah.
a good
One of
thumbnail. I
one of the
feel
good
that.
things about having the garden, the garden outside the house rather than having to go to the allotment is you can have of an evening occasionally a couple of glasses of wine, and then you head out in the dark. And because you've had a couple of glasses of wine, you don't mind handling them. So then it's like, oh, big slug, sling. Whereas during the day I'm like that, oh, I think I'll put my gloves on. So there I go, jolly, up the garden, don't like you, don't like you, and firing them all over the place. Not to anyone else's garden.
All your hedgehogs, Danny. I'm sure your hedgehogs all
No,
do
this is
night
one of,
shift.
yeah. So as much as now they don't particularly eat the bigger ones. Now I've seen on my camera them walk straight past a big slug and give a little wave, But they're perfect. The hedgehogs that I've got, and we've got quite a few on the allotment site now. It's really nice. A lot of people have been active the last year of putting hedgehog houses out. We've all got our own little hedgehog feeding stations and things. So it's really nice. But I introduced 5 onto my plot, and I'm sure that they all don't live on my plot. But it's nice that they live in the area and they travel for so long anyway. But they're brilliant for the small slugs. When those little baby ones come out, they're foraging around for hours and hours looking for them. So I don't. It's very rare. This is not like a bragging thing about the allotment. I do nematode, but then on top of that, I do like the fact that the hedgehogs help me as well, and before the chickens would as well. But for some reason,
the chickens will eat small ones as well. They would not eat.
I agree.
Yeah, the big ones. Ooh.
But it's very rare that you will see like a slug attack on my plot. Like I never do videos where I'm like, no, because I'm always, it's one of those things that really gets on my nerves with slugs. So I do try and prevent it with, doing the nematodes, and it is expensive to do, but it saves me so many hours less of stress.
No, you're right.
It costs me about £40 a year to do it for both plots.
Is that all? I would have thought it would do more, actually. Gosh.
No, it's £40 to do both plots. You can buy a double pack, and I do that in spring. Normally, you do have to. The best time to do it is when it's out in the rain, and you can water when it's raining, and it's perfect. And it saves me going over there in the nighttime with the torch, doing all those things, and stressing coming over. I do still get them in the polytunnel because I made a rookie mistake of non-nematode in the polytunnel this year. Because it was warmer when I did it. It was raining, but it was still warm out. But so, I'm still getting a few in there. But I'm okay with slugs. There's other things that drive me crazy, like moles, but they've not come back.
No, I don't think any of them. The people that had the house before me had 50 ducks, apparently. So for the first year, I didn't really have any slugs because ducks are definitely great for slugs, and they'll eat them. But the chickens don't, and I haven't got tons of them, truth be known. But there's enough to just annihilate the things that you don't want them to annihilate. Like my first lot of brassicas that went out. Now I've got the brassicas they're looking great, but the first lot, and it's actually the mice in the polytunnel that surprised me, because now I've got 3 cats, but 2 of them are indoor cats, so we rescue cats scared of their own shadow, and my other cat is Colin, who is 19, and he's sort of a bit past hunting now, so he can't sort of control them. But,
Max, have you ever thought about doing like a floating shelf in the middle though? That was the game changer for my life. Everything that would upset me if it get eaten by mice or rats, or it just floats in nothing, and
Annie, at the moment I've got, because of all the expense of moving, I've got a cheap and cheerful polytunnel. But when I do get a proper polytunnel that's a bit of a better size, I definitely will do a floating shelf. I definitely will. I suppose I could do it where I am, but
I'm
But we'll
still
see.
in negotiations with my wife. She still doesn't let me have a polytunnel.
No.
I'm not even telling you. It changed my life.
I know. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm like, look, the growing season's passing. Let me have a polytunnel. Yeah. It's all about.
Just go for it. Christmas present. Go for it. The old Christmas present route.
Yeah, I'll have to. I really will.
Yeah. And then you'll have it nice and ready for next spring. That's what you want.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I actually, the polytunnel's more beneficial than you think. And I think people think it's about growing things like tomatoes. That's actually, to me, the polytunnel for tomatoes is actually an end product. It's actually something that I use the polytunnel for in summer when I don't really need the polytunnel, which is strange because people think that that's when you really want it. And you never go in your polytunnel or your greenhouse in the summer. You never would go in there. You actually use those things more in winter and spring for preparing and hiding out the rain and things like that. And so I think, polytunnels definitely are more a winter and a spring thing. And that's one of the reasons why
you can grow over winter in it as well. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
When I saw your cabbage, I thought your cabbage.
I know. I'm not. I've got a cabbage in now, and I keep waiting for it to flower because I keep thinking, I just want to see how long I can push this cabbage to its limit. And it is huge. I'm not even kidding you. It's about 4 or 5 foot wide, and it's still. And I've not watered that cabbage once since I put it in. It's just out. It grows in the soil, and I've not watered once. I have treated that terribly, but it's maybe I should harvest it now and eat it. But yeah, the cabbages were perfect. And I'm going to do exactly the same this year in spring. But we should go back to flowers now, Mags, because we're going off.
We're off on topic. I'm just looking at my crib sheet here to see if there's anything.
I think we haven't talked about like the sacrificial flowers as well. Like, people put marigolds out for the whitefly, and the reason I do nasturtiums the most is for my beans. Beans are really, really the main crop for me, and for me to take the black fly away from them and let them devour the black fly, I'm happy for that. And the good thing is, once I see a big swarm on there, I just rip that off, and I normally put it in with the chickens, and then they tend to eat it all away. And the nasturtiums recover and they carry on growing again. So there is benefits to having flowers on the plot for other things as well, to draw things away. But other people put like marigolds on the side of their beds, thinking, the slugs are them. But sometimes you're drawing the slugs in as well. You're telling them like,
that's the worry, isn't it? Yeah.
And once they've eaten that, then they're there. They've laid their eggs and.
Well, it's a bit like that with beer traps as well, and I do use beer traps, but I try and keep them a little bit away from what I'm wanting to them not to devour. One thing
I have got some seed tape that's got all the sort of companion plants that, like sacrificial type plants in it, like marigolds and the nasturtiums, and they're just sewn in these seed tapes. But I've never. Yeah, I need to use them this year, really. I thought when I get my bees out, then I'll just, plant these seed tapes and see if they seem to do all right with other stuff.
Have you not got your beans out yet, Amir? Come on.
No, I know, I'm really behind. I'm so behind on everything, especially my allotment. Like this weekend when I was there, I was just like, it just looks like a blank canvas now, ready for everything to be shifted over there.
Do any of you raise flowers as a crop? I.e., for bringing indoors or for selling or giving away, and some cut flowers or whatever.
Cut flowers I do a lot. I like flowers in the house, so I do. Most of my dahlias, as much as people go like, what? I do cut them back a bit. And, I did have a nice big floor and friends as well. If I go to the cinema and stuff like that, and, they're driving for once, I always say, do you want to come back to the plot and have a look? And then, you pick some things up. And I always tend to give my, my girly friends sort of like, they like to have a nice bouquet of flowers to take home and stuff. Especially the ones who can't get dates, so they always feel like they're having a bit of an experience.
I don't think they'd appreciate you talking about that.
I won't mention it, but her name's Megan.
Susie was just saying on the chat there that she has a cutting bed every year. What do you have in the cutting bed, Susie?
That's a good idea.
Nice.
Yeah, because that's the thing when you've got all these flowers. I mean, I like bringing flowers indoors, but you always think, oh no, I'm going to cut that and it's going to ruin the aesthetics of the garden. You know, you want to.
Yeah, I like to leave them there and take some to like friends and family when we visit. We just pick some fresh
Yeah.
just before we go. But yeah, I always leave some, even with the gladiola, there's always quite a lot that I leave because I just like that. It's just nice.
But I'm like that sometimes if I'm going to do a plot tour as well. Like if I got like a plot tour or something where I'm going to be filming next day for, like, say, all the salad. I've known myself at shopping, go and buy a lettuce because I won't pick that lettuce out of that bed because I know I'm filming in the morning and I'm like, this is ridiculous.
This is how you've got a successful channel, Danny. These are all the tips and tricks that you need to tell us about.
Yeah, well, I know another successful YouTuber. We won't mention her name, Jane. She once picked all her carrots and forgot to turn the camera on. And then she put the carrots back in the bed and pretend like, wow.
I have to say, I have done that, but only with a couple of carrots. You know, like when I've picked one out and thought, that's a cracker, let's just video that, put it back in. And then you've got to go, oh!
I generally do harvest a lot of my stuff on my plot, but my biggest thing is giving it away, but also just growing it. I'm not really worried about, you know, living off my plot 100%. I'm happy just the experience and the you know, the community I've got. And like, I'll go over there and I'll be watching a lettuce go to seed, but I'll still stop and have a cup of coffee with Linda and we'll eat biscuits and cake. And I'll go home and I think, you know, we could have just had like a salad off the plot, but you know, that's real life. You know,
Jessie, I think it was our latest video, and she was it was just the music she was playing music, so she wasn't talking at the time, but she was picking things, and then she went into her shed, and then you saw her putting noodles in a pan, all this stuff she'd picked, and then her and her mum are sitting there getting tucked into all this stuff that she'd just picked out the plot, and I was like, that's really good, but I don't do that.
I am more active about that. Like in my mind, I do plan. Like people think that I do plan a lot, and I do plan. So like the fig and olive plot, most of the crops that I grow on there is for winter. So like now the leeks are in, the Swedes are in, and all those things are in. It's going to be different now because I've got that plot next door. But before, because the grapevine plot was all for like the crops that didn't really need to be tended to that much, you know what I mean? Like sprouts and things. But like things like swede and all those things for stews that I will grow in. I don't know if you've seen these mags in winter that I'll make like a stew or I'll do, and I'll cook these type of things in the shed on the log burner. And so I like those crops outside. So, you know, I have grown parsnips and I keep all my potatoes there and carrots and things like that. So I am trying to be a bit more mindful of what I really need on it in winter when I haven't got to forage so far away. But now the other right next door, you know, world's my oyster now.
Yeah,
fantastic. So just getting back to Susie, actually, she's come back. Susie has a cutting bed, and it's Cosmos Agastache. Is that how we say it? And Verbascum. Nice. Yeah. That's nice. Roses. I've got some nice roses that were here when I moved in. So. And some of them are so beautifully scented. I'm sort of getting a wee sort of inkling to focus on roses a bit more.
That is nice.
Because they were lovely. And roses are good for cutting. And so are dahlias. Rudbeckia is fantastic for cutting as well.
Yeah.
Because they just go on forever.
I've never been a big roses fan, but I am going that way to them because I've got 3 on there now. I think 2 of them are bush varieties and one's like a climbing. I think the climbing one's called the Generous Gardener, and that was off Nanu and Grinch over at plot number 9. And yeah, they sent me this like climbing rose thing. So that's in, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. But I find roses a bit. they're a bit scary, aren't they? Because you don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with them much, and
No,
they're
I'm
very
definitely learning. Yeah,
they're very
I had a
thorny as
lovely
well.
one. I had a lovely one back where I used to stay called Madame Alfred Carrieri, and it was a white but with a slight pink tinge, and it was beautifully scented. Trouble was, I didn't have the height. I had one of them on a 6-foot fence, and it was just too big. You know, it was going up way above the fence and into the neighbours and whatever. So it really needs a big area to climb on. Excuse me, but it was
Here's a question for you both, though. It's like, do you ever grow anything purely just for sentimental values as well? Like, that's something that I didn't really think about until I started introducing, roses in, and they just remind me of my grandfather and things like that. So there are certain flowers that other people will be like, oh, I hate them, but they always grow them because they remind you
of someone. Yeah. There is always.
That's how those plant companies get you as well, though, because they'll bring out plants like Danny's Grocer and things like that. You think that's a stupid name, but you'll buy it because your name's in it, and
your name's on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I suppose sweet peas to a degree, because my mum loved sweet peas. And so I suppose that's quite a sentimental one. I'm trying to think. There's another one at the tip of my tongue, and I can't actually remember the name of it. It is, see if you can guess, because I've got mind like a sieve. It is a summer bulb, and this really highly scented. Grow about that height. Jesus, what is it called?
Oh, hyacinth. No.
Like a lily?
No, it is. Oh, it'll come back to me. Everyone's now thinking.
There's an old gentleman on the plot, and he always, I don't know what happens, but his wife absolutely loved sweet peas. And I remember I think it was last year or the year before, he failed massively with them, and he was too afraid to tell her that he failed these sweet peas. So we all allowed him to pick the sweet peas off our plots, and just to keep his wife happy through the summer. And I remember at the end of the summer saying, you don't realize how much that made her day. And she still to this day don't know that I didn't grow him, but we saved his neck that day. Someone's saying Freesia, maybe?
There was a couple of, you have channels come and go, and there's a few channels that haven't come back this year that I've been quite disappointed about and worried in some ways as well. But there was there's is it Raw? Is it Rob? Oh no, it's the chap that had his car park growing space.
Yeah, I remember him.
And he and his wife hadn't been very well last year, and he was quite elderly, but he was grew the most fantastic things. And then there was I
think you need to ask Steve about him, because I know Steve's friends with him. So I remember there is something gone on there, but I can't remember what it is. But he did mention that to me.
And then there was Fiona Grows, a lovely lady in Newcastle. And then there's Malgosia and Nigel, who had allotment in the field. So but anyway, that's besides. But there was a guy, the Dawn Chorus plot. Do you remember
the Dawn Chorus plot?
And he had loads of a mix of sunflowers called Hilda's Mix, and he had been given them by another YouTuber, and it must have been Hilda, must have been that chap's wife. And there was this mix, and that passed its way along loads of YouTubers, and I got Hilda's Mix a couple of years ago and grew that. I didn't actually save the flowers, save the seeds, should have done. But so that definitely was a sentimentality there with the sweet.
I think people do come and go on YouTube, and then they're stuck with people like me. They're stuck with people like me. That's the problem.
Fresias. Sorry, I'm just interrupting now. Nicola, well done. Fresias. That's what I was talking about earlier. Another one of my mum's favourites.
Yeah.
I want to know what's happened to Amia's allotment. That's what I want to know. What's going on there?
I think we're due a video. I think we're definitely due a video.
It came out today. It was. I did have a little bit of about a 2 week. Do you know what happens? Sometimes you go on the plot and Yeah,
after this.
we sort of go on the plot and like I'll do little bits for the video and I'll put them all together, but you just never get round to actually
I know.
posting it, and then
Yeah. And then you lose the stream and you think, oh, well, it's no point in putting that up now because I've recorded it 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I've had a big struggle actually. I've been crocked for the past few weeks. In fact, I've been crocked all year. I've got really bad sciatica, really bad. So I can sit, but if I can only stand for a very short period of time and I can only walk for a short period of time, I'm getting osteopathy and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and that's really knocked me. So I'm sort of sitting about in the garden all the time. You'll see me, I'm sitting down in a seat and doing this, sitting down and doing that, sitting down, because it's just, and then having to get poor Tom to help me with compost and whatever. But that sort of pushed me back. And then I had recorded all this stuff and then just thought, oh, what's the point, you know?
Yeah, I've done that though. I've recorded before and then edited and thought, I hate this. If I don't enjoy editing it, I don't upload it. I just try it for a bit. Well, I don't think I've ever missed a week, but I mean, I've been late a few times and things. But
you don't even you had that injury, but you were still there. You know, you were.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the times when I've had to turn that camera off and I was like this, going, this is absolutely killing me.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't know why I did it, because it was silly. It was very silly of me. But I in my head I kept thinking, I've not missed a week. I've not missed a week. But it's not. It's okay. If
still,
you don't.
Yeah, because with all your growing and everything, you were still ahead. You were still you know, you could have given yourself a bit of a break. You would have been fine, but you did, go through that.
Yeah.
Which is,
I don't know why. I know I don't know why I was foolish. I was, because I'm still not right now. You know,
you sometimes do it for the subscribers, don't you? Because that's the thing, isn't it? Like sometimes you feel a little bit driven and motivated by the people that watch. And,
I remember, I had an email once off someone just because I was late for one day, and they were like, "Oh, me and my husband were so upset. I hope everything's okay with you. We're really upset. We were sat there with our tea, waiting for you to come on, and then you didn't come on." And that has always stuck in my head, thinking, you know, I'm sure there's only one or two that actually sit there waiting for me to come on, but yeah, it really stuck in my head. But
that's the thing about having regular videos. I'm a bit sort of, I've got one, I'll put it up. I've got one, I'll put it up. I've got one, I'll put it up. Whereas maybe it is better. What are your thoughts? Is it better to say, right, I'm going to have a video on a Wednesday and a Friday, or once a week or whatever, and then people do? Because I do anticipate videos by certain people. I'm like, oh, great, it's a Wednesday, I'll be able to see this.
Yeah, I definitely think that you should. Like, sometimes my videos I'll film on a Monday, ready for Sunday, so I've got time to edit. It's just the way that I need to work now. And even if it's ready on time, I still want. Sometimes I push it, and sometimes I trial the algorithm a bit. Like, I'll put it out on a Saturday evening, midnight. A Saturday's been working really well for me because it's been drawing a lot of the Americans in. So
Right.
doing that at 12 o'clock midnight. Is because there's nobody else watching. YouTube wants to obviously make money as well, so they just think, oh, we'll try America. And you know, I think my audience is about 20%.
Right, Amir, let's go. Let's get these videos up tomorrow at midnight.
What about midnight? Don't put them out on Saturday midnight. That's why it's not. No, I don't care. I don't mind.
You'll see in this video posted, it's like you'll see the blue tits and I film them, and then suddenly they go from literally being newborn to literally ready to go, and then you can tell I filmed it over like 2 weeks.
Well, I say to Linda sometimes, I'm like, Linda, you on for a video for 2 weeks? She's filmed it all. She's got about a month's worth in her, you know, her hard drive or whatever. But she's finding the time in it, and
definitely.
But it's not the end of the world. Like, sometimes I just delete things. I think, doesn't matter. I'll just show them what's happened, and we carry on. You know, I don't think you should put pressure on it. You've got to enjoy it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I have just noticed the time. It is now 21:03, and I think, Danny, you've got homework to do or something.
No, I got to write an essay.
I'm
okay.
So I think probably we should call a halt. I've got an empty wine glass here, and it is a Friday night, so I do need to top it up.
Big glass,
it is actually. You need a big straw. It'll be fine. Thank you so much to my guests, Amir and Danny, and Ali. Poor Ali had to bail out because her broadband kept giving up. And thanks to everybody that has joined. A few folk have had to jump off, but it's been really lovely seeing your comments. I hope you've enjoyed this. And thanks again, Danny and Amir. It's lovely.
You're gonna have to come back on my lives when I start back up in October sometime, and you can come on in. Yeah.
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Thank you, Max. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'd love to. I'd love to. Yeah. So look, have a lovely weekend. I hopefully a nice productive weekend in the garden if you get the opportunity or the plot to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks again. It's been a blast. I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks, Max. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye for now. Bye.